Hi, today I'm at Windyheads Hill in Aberdeenshire. Yeah, that is its name. And this is the site of a Second World War radio navigation base. So the plan is to go up the hill and explore what's left of the World War II site, and then hopefully, after I've done that, have a second bite at doing a van camp.
Now this is the site of the Windyheads GEE radio navigation station from World War II. Now the GEE system was part of a hyperbolic navigation system, a bit like Lauren. It was the kind of predecessor to Lauren, and it was the very first version. Now it was invented by Robert Dippy in the 30s, and they didn't have a lot of time to kind of iron out the bugs. They got it into service very quickly, and this station was up and operating in 1941. Now it worked as a cluster of these stations all worked together, and they were referred to as chains. And there were chain clusters all the way along the coast of the British Isles, mostly up the east side and along the southern coast. And they would have had a master station and slave stations, and this was a slave station as part of the northern chain. The northern chain consisted of a station at Dunnet Head, which is about as far north and east as you can go, a station at Sango in Durness up in Sutherland, which is about as far north and west as you can go, one up in Shetland Isles, which is as far north as you can go, and here in Aberdeenshire. And between them, any plane flying in the north of Scotland could triangulate its position through a clever formula of measuring the speed at which signals from these four stations were received. Now, ooh, that's icy there. So the system helped the planes that flew off the multiple bases along the Moray Firth and in Aberdeenshire to protect the convoys of naval boats heading to Scapa Flow or the Cromarty fueling depot, or even heading out towards the Atlantic, as most of them would go up through the North Sea and across the top of Scotland. And these navigation sites helped these planes navigate in the dark and where there was no kind of land reference, which is, you know, when they go out into the far sea. Now, GEE had its limitations, and the major limitation for GEE was it was only kind of useful out to about 350 miles, which meant that they had to have lots of these chains along the coast to allow them to pass from one chain to the next as they travelled further north. So here are some of the old buildings. So we'll spin it round, and we're starting now to come across some of the buildings. Now here, there were definitely transmission and receiver blocks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into there. Yeah, let's crunch through. But there were also some experimental systems which were about kind of range finding. Oh, let's push our way in. Oh man, can't see for the sun. Oh wow. Whew. And yeah, nature's definitely taken over in here. So this looks like one of the generator rooms. See if I can get back out through here. Now, it's been a long time since I've been here. I think it was probably 10 years since I last came here. And, well, these, I don't remember there being quite so much foliage. Spin the camera around. Yeah, it's been a number of years since I was here, and nature has most definitely taken over now. This place still is used as part of the National Air Traffic Control System. And it is still technically part of the Ministry of Defence, but it's mainly used for civilian air flight. Now on the other side of the hill, there's an old weird building that was made out of plywood and insulated with gravel. It's a very strange one, and it was one of the experimental buildings that had a directional rangefinder thing on the top of it. I know it's falling down. It was falling down when I saw it 10 years ago, so it'll be interesting to see what's left of it. Now, unusually for Second World War stuff, this was made out of plywood, and it appeared to be double skin plywood and insulated with either pebbles or vermiculite or something like that. And I mean, the only reason I can think that they've done that is to reduce, you know, to allow the radio waves to go through it. I have no idea. It's a very unusual construction, and it's quite amazing there's anything left of it after all this time. But it does look like it had, there you go, I'm standing on a bit. It looked like it had a roofing felt exterior and was made out of wooden boards. So yeah, very unusual thing. But you know, this is what it looked like up here 10 years ago. And I cannot find anyone who's got a picture of it, how it looked like in the Second World War. If you do, I'd be really interested to see it. So yeah, but any road, I'm going to see if I can walk up to, there's one of these bird tables, as they're referred to, on the top of the hill. So I'm going to walk direct line to it and we can see what it actually is. I have a feeling it's just a lump of concrete, but we're going to have a look anyway. There we go. 180. So make that out. So that's what these bird tables are. A radio calibration device would have sat on top of that and would have told this movable aerial where the different quadrants of the compass were. There you go. So I've actually had a look once. The first time I've actually ever walked up and had a look at one. Well, that's me back at the van. I hope you enjoyed that bit of history. It was a bit of fun pushing my way through the bushes to see what was left. But as you can see, nature's doing a good job of taking over. So I think what I'll do is I'll spin the camera around and I'll show you what I've done to the van. I haven't done a huge amount, but I think it'll make the difference. Last time I had a pretty awful night's sleep. This time I'm hoping to get a way better one. So I'll just pull the camera in and I'll let you see what I've done. So first of all, I've lined the roof and I've also lined the floor with 5mm polyurethane closed cell foam. And I'm hoping that that'll help to stop the condensation on the roof. Now, I haven't lined the walls, but probably the biggest thing I've done is I've taken out the bulkhead. So taking out the bulkhead is going to allow the Nemo van to play its party trick, and that is the passenger seat is designed to drop completely down and flush with the back of the van, and that will allow me to put a long sleep pad. I've got a nice big thick inflatable pad that will run the full length of the van and allow me to lie out fully, because last time I thought sleeping with my legs bent wasn't going to be an issue, but it was the most uncomfortable night's sleep I've had in many a year. So I'm hoping that this kind of opened up will help me have a more relaxing night. And you know, with the bulkhead out, it feels a lot bigger anyway. And, you know, when it gets dark and I want to have lights on in the van and stay stealthy, I can drop the curtain down. It's a blackout curtain that is where the bulkhead was. But also, I've got covers for the two rear windows that are held in on magnets. I've got this one on here now. That's in already. And I've got one for the other side as well. And they will help me be able to sit in the van with the lights on and still be stealthy from the outside and nobody will be able to see me. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a cup of tea and have a chill out, and I'll bring you back when I'm having some noodles, because I've got some special noodles tonight that I got bought for me for Christmas. So I'll see you when it's noodle time. Well, it's 4:30. The sun is dropping rapidly, which is why I've put the curtain down, or it would have been straight in the camera. And it's time for some noodles. And tonight I've got something a bit different. Shin Ramen spicy chicken. Well, Shin Ramen standard is my favourite, and I've never come across that before. So this was a gift from Mrs. P for Christmas. I got a big box of obscure noodles, and that was in there. So I'm going to have that with some rice noodles. Not the whole packet, obviously. I'm just going to put a handful in. And I'm having it with some fresh chicken, or some ready cooked chicken. As you can see, no expense spared. I've got a couple of them. So we can augment the protein with that, and it should go well. So I'm going to boil up some water on my mountain stove with that. I'm going to whack it in there with the rice noodles and let them steep for a bit. And while the next batch of water's heating up, these will be kind of softening. And then I'll tip the water out and lob everything in here, because I think my bowl's not big enough. So I'm going to eat out of that tonight. And when it's all done and it's all in there and it's all ready to go with the chicken and the sauce and everything, I'll bring you back and let you have a look and see what I think. So I'll see you when it's all cooked. Okay, that's the noodles done. And yeah, they smell great. Now, they were exactly the same as the standard Shin ramen. They came with the soup base, but it's chicken soup base. And yeah, smells very different. It came with flakes, which is pretty similar to the normal Shin ramen, like some veggies, and obviously the noodles. And I think coupled with the extra rice, so that's the big thick ribbon noodles I put in with it. That's the standard ramen. Big chunks of chicken, if I can skewer a bit. There we go. Big chunks of chicken and orange soup base. So there we are, without spilling it all over the floor. So I'll give it a quick taste for you. That burning my mouth. Oh yeah, now that is, oh, it's quite spicy. A very chickeny flavour. Very impressed with that. And if I can get a bit of the ribbon noodle. Oh, they're good. They're nice and soft. I was a bit worried they wouldn't be cooked through. But they... Oh yeah, that's good. It was the right idea to put it back on the heat and warm up. I don't normally do that with ramen. Normally just putting boiling water on's enough. But yeah, it's, like I say, it's 2 degrees. It's darn cold out now. And it needed reheating through. So yeah, as per usual, I've probably made too much. But I'm going to scoff it anyway. So I'll see you when I've had my noodles, and I'll give you a full kind of feedback on what I thought. But initial findings are, I think it's going to be good. I'll see you in a bit. Well, that's the noodles done, and they are really good. I'm going to have to buy some more of them. Shin ramen spicy chicken. It's got all the spice that you get in the standard Shin one, but it's very chickeny. It's got a definite chicken flavour to it, and adding those rice stick noodles to them was fantastic. It added a different texture, and the lumps of chicken really, you know, boosted the chicken flavour as well. I probably made a bit too many, and I'll be honest, I didn't eat it all. I've just chucked a little bit because I've got to leave room for my pudding, because it wouldn't be a camping trip if I didn't have pudding. And today, it's an old classic. I've got Swiss roll from the freezer shop. I think they were £1 each. And cold custard, because as well as having a penchant for cold rice pudding, I also like cold tin custard. So I'm probably going for what you would call a kind of a deconstructed trifle, or a partially constructed trifle, I don't know. But I'm going to slice this up, put it in my bowl, pour custard over it, and eat it like a pig. But I'm probably going to wait a little bit and let my noodles go down, because that was a good belly full of noodles. But there's always room for pudding. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. There's always room for pudding. So I'm going to have a chill out for a bit. I'm going to eat my pud, and I'll come back when I'm setting the van up for nighttime mode. I'm not going to do it just yet, because I've already had quite a few dog walkers. You would think this place was far enough away from anywhere to not have that, but it would appear that I'm getting a lot of kind of back home from work dog walkers. Probably 5 or 6 different groups so far, but it's not a problem. But I'll just wait until everybody's come and walked their dogs and done what they've got to do before I convert into bedroom mode. So I'll come back when it's time for that. Well, that's the van all set up, ready for me to hunker down when it's bedtime. Now, I think before I do, I'm going to have a listen to my Rebus book and maybe watch a few YouTube videos. But yeah, we're all set up, and it's getting a bit chilly out there now. It's -2 or -3-ish outside, and it's about +5 in here. Now, I could make it a bit warmer. I could put the stove on, but I don't need to. I'm wearing a down jacket underneath my combat, and I've got a 5-season bag that I'm going to be sleeping in. So I'm actually pretty toasty in here. So it's all good in here. Now, I'll spin it round and I'll show you. There's the air mattress, nice big fat one. And that's under there. So my My legs go out into the cabin. I've got my window blinds up here, just keep everything blacked out. And I've got my cushies and everything, so I'm going to be comfy and toasty warm, and I can guarantee that this will be a far nicer sleep than I had the last time I camped in the van. So I think what I should do is I'm going to go and listen to my book, and I will see you all in the morning. Well, good morning, everybody. It's just after 7. What time is it? 7:13. And I think it's time to get up, get a brew on, and get the car defrosted, because all the windows are frozen up. It dropped down to about -4 last night, which meant it was about 0 in the van, but I was warm enough. I slept with my down puffer on, and my bag was good. Started off sleeping kind of duvet style, but I could feel the cold air coming up, so I zipped her up fully, and job was a good, and I was toasty and warm. And sleeping straight out now with my legs sticking through is so much better. Comfy night's sleep, and this is definitely going to work like this. So yeah, all in all, pleased with the modifications to the van. So I think it's time I got up, got the windows defrosted, got the van warmed up, and got myself a brew on. And once I've done that, I'm going to head off home, and I'll see you back home in a wash up. Well, that's me back home, and all in all, a really good camp. I proved to myself that I can actually camp in the back of the van and get a decent night's sleep. Now, does that mean I'm about to become a van camper? Well, no, not really. I really like sleeping in tarps and tents, and sleeping in the van just isn't the same for me. So I think you can rest assured that the majority of my camps in the future are going to be out there in the wild, under tarps, tents, and in bashers. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be great if you could leave me a thumbs up and a comment. And if you're not already subscribed, consider clicking the subscribe button. If you are subscribed, it would really help the channel get seen wider if you considered sharing the video. Thanks for that. Well, until the next video, I'll say ta-ra. Ta-ra.